What's good? What's good? What's good? Let me let Los get on here. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Look in the Mirror, the conversation. So give Los 1 minute. We're going to get him on here. Just hold tight with us for 1 minute.
I'm ready, Quay. Sorry about that.
No, you good. We hot, man. We hot now, man. Let's go. You ready?
We live. We here. We ready. It's that time, baby. It's that time.
What's good with you? What's good with you today, man? Talk to me.
I'm blessed. I am super ecstatic, bro. The movie is going to be dropping next week. We will be putting it in film festivals or warm, friendly grounds. Make sure you look out for that. I promise you, I got something special for y'all, especially at a time in a moment like this, where the world is going through all the different changes that it's going through. So I'm blessed. How about you? Talk to me.
Man, I'm doing well, man. Doing well. I said blessed, man. Family's good. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's safe. Man, mom's is doing good. Dad is good. Sister's good. So I'm good, man.
Talking about.
But yeah, man, just happy to be here to have another conversation with you, brother. We got a hot one tonight.
What we talking about? What we talking about?
Man, you know what, man? So we talking about the black woman and the black man, and the conflict continues, man. The conflict continues, man. So let's do a quick little short intro, man, because we got a couple guests ready to get on here, man, and you know, and fellowship and dialogue with us.
Okay.
So let's do a little quick intro, man. Tell the folks about yourself real fast.
Well, my name is King Jaquel Martin. I'm a director, actor, author, motivational speaker, and I'm one of your hosts today on this amazing show brought to you by Look in the Mirror Productions, The Conversation. And I am here no other with the phenomenal Quay Price. Man, talk to me. Who are you, Quay? So let them know.
What's good, everybody? So Quay Price, I said, man, IT by day, stock trader, Forex trader by night, juice company owner. You know, I'm just a jack of all trades, if you will. Got my hands in a lot of things. You know, recently a co-host, you know what I'm saying, on an awesome show. So yeah, man, just happy to be here, man. Just happy to be here and try to tackle these issues that are plaguing our community, plaguing the relationship between the black man and the black woman, and just try to see how we can move us forward and change our trajectory, you know, as a community.
Now, one thing we want everyone to understand, we're not just saying that it's all conflict and it's all bad, but with anything in any relationship, in any race or any piece and walk of life, there's a SWOT report. Things have their strengths, their weaknesses, there's opportunities, and there's different type of threats. So throughout this conversation, we want to be able to address these 4 different topics of the strengths, the weaknesses, and the opportunities and the threats of the relationship between the black man and the black woman. Talk to me, Quinn.
Facts. Yeah, man. You know, I think we need to get into this one, man. Like I said, we got a couple guests queued up, so I'm gonna bring on our first guest.
On the show with us today.
Man, so we got a good friend of mine, man. Like I said, we got history. We go way back. She goes by the name of Nina Thornton, or that's how I know her, Nina Thornton. Like I said, good people, good positive sister, man. So let me get her in here, man, and so she can say her piece.
All right, bring her on.
Nina, can you hear us? Check your microphone.
I think, can you hear me now?
Hey.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Nina Thornton, you are our first guest on Looking at the Conversation. So we appreciate you coming on, especially on a day like this.
Child.
Go ahead and spill the tea.
Child. All I gotta say is child.
I think hold on 1 second, Nina. I think we got one more in here. I see one more.
Yeah, we have another guest in the back. We got another surprise back there for you.
Hold on 1 second. Let me bring in the next guest.
Okay.
All right. Is she in here?
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So the first thing we want to start real quick, just to have you two introduce yourself. So Nina, you want to go first?
Well, a little bit about me, what I do, I'm from Southfield, Michigan. I am 40. I'm old.
I'm 40.
Yes. Currently, I am during the daytime. I do work. I am a supervisor, and I do banking, and I work a lot in defaulted loans and helping people get into a position to either, help them keep their home or help them exit their home. That's the best way I can. That's the best way I can explain it. You know, I am a avid supporter of historically black colleges and universities. I am an A&T Aggie, and
Hey.
like I said today, Facebook been on blast and been on. I've been saying, "Child, and Lord help me, I'm about to go back in Facebook jail for some of these people."
Hey, so a quick question, Nina. If people wanted to get in contact with you because they might need help with what you do, how can they get in contact with you, or how can they find you? How can you be a blessing to them?
You can reach me on Facebook. My government name is my government name on Facebook. So it's just Tristina, last name Thornton. That's me.
Okay.
Very knowledgeable. If I can't assist you, I know people who can though. So.
Do you have a website or anything that they might be able to get in contact with?
No, they can just contact me through Facebook. That's probably the best way to contact me.
Okay, awesome. Well, what about our other phenomenal guests? Who are you? Let us know about you.
Hello, my name's Andrea Carlton. I am retired military. I was in the Army for 12 years, serving this country. I've been all over the world, been all over the United States.
Okay.
I went to UCLA when I used to live in Los Angeles, studied in the entertainment industry, used to work in the entertainment industry, still do a little bit of work in the entertainment industry. Just got done directing, producing, co-writing a virtual stage play. Worked as a talent agent when I was in LA, and still help my fellow actors, actresses, get into them commercials, movies, and everything like that. I'm 41, so
I'll be there about 2 weeks. I'll be there for 2 weeks.
I heard that.
Well,
yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm an actor. My girlfriend's an actress, so maybe we can connect. You can bless us. I'm also a director, so maybe we can work on some projects or something like that. You never know. Look at the synergy and how God can bring everything together. So we never know what can come out of this and how we can move forward.
Absolutely.
But Quasi, take us into the topic today and why we have these two phenomenal young women on, and we have more guests coming on in the future.
All right, so the topic for today is the black man and the black woman, and the conflict continues. So the basis behind the topic for today basically is some things that's been going on Facebook, right? So I'm sure you guys are aware that Kamala Harris was selected as the VP running mate for Joe Biden in the election, right? And I'm not sure about your timelines, but mine exploded. Right. So I've been seeing all types of arguments. I've been seeing folks getting called out of their names. I've been seeing folks disrespecting men. I've been seeing folks disrespecting women. I've seen WAP. I've seen Cardi B. Like, I've seen all types of names coming up from this announcement of Kamala Harris being selected as the VP running mate. And it's just triggered something. And I want to start this off because I posted about this. And like I said, a lot of responses kicked off. And I said, Nina, you saw this earlier. But I want to start this with this post real quick, just to kind of put some context around it. So bear with me. I'm going to try to pull this in.
Now, you know what's so funny, Quace, that you brought that up? Because remember, today's show was going to be twerk versus real work. And you brought up the WAP song. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny how this topic just exploded and why we're doing what we're doing right now. So all we're doing right now, Quace, is a blank paper with some words. I'm not sure if that's what you were looking for. Is that the item?
Yeah, that's it. So let me read this comment that I got today.
Can you blow it up for the audience? Can you blow it up so everybody can see it a little bit bigger? Because we can't see that. I know.
I can't see that.
Let me see.
Yeah, go closer. Go all the way in, Quace. Go all the way in. Closer. So the audience can see. Keep going.
200%, please. 200%.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm at 290. I'm at 290.
Can it go closer? There we go. Keep going. You got room. You got room.
Well, I can't fit it all in there. I got it. That's as far as I can take it.
Right.
But I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it though.
Okay.
All right. So it says, I feel it's not just Kamala, but a culmination of several things that recently happened that feel like a lack of support for Black women. Kamala, WAP, Meg the Stallion, the Meg the Stallion shooting, Breonna Taylor. She said black men have been going in on WAP, yet they don't challenge other male artists that have spewed the same type of sexually degrading lyrics, videos for years. Yes, Kamala has a questionable track record, but the way folks are going in on her is crazy. Questioning if she's black, her white husband, just pure hate words towards her, and how they won't vote for her. But meanwhile, this white man is in office threatening our actual livelihoods, health, and security. But folks choose to focus their energy into dragging her.
Scroll it, Quay. Scroll it so we can see where you at. There you go.
No, that was all of it right there. And then I'm gonna give you one more. So this came from a young man. So this is a male perspective.
Okay.
And he says, I think in general, a lot of men don't respect women. He said, but women of color, especially in power, seem to threaten weak-minded men. I hear a lot of men telling women to stay in their place and know their role. Strong women will expect more out of others. So if you don't have your stuff together, you feel belittled when society told us men that we are supposed to be the breadwinner and hurt our pride. It's not just Kamala. He said, just like someone outside of my race can tell me how to feel, to understand, they have to listen to understand my strife. The same applies to women and women of color. We have to stop dismissing what they are telling us and listen so we can fully understand. It all boils down to mutual respect.
Facts.
All right. So those are two different perspectives. So the first one came from a young lady, let's say good friend of mine. And the second one came from a young man. So the reason for this show is I've been noticing that this whole Kamala Harris situation has literally went from political into basically a beef basically between black men and black women. And like I said, based off the fact that I hear folks looping in this new Cardi and Meg song WAP, which mind you, I haven't heard it yet, so I don't even know what it is yet. But they're looping that in, they're looping in things that have happened in the past. Like I said, for me, this feels like this is something that's deep rooted. So we wanted to do this show as black men. Like I said, this is the main reason we're doing this show. We're trying to hash out the issues that exist between us in the community, the black man and the black woman, and essentially the black family. And we want to get down to the bottom of this stuff so that we can all move forward, with mutual respect, and the black woman feels supported, the black man feels supported, and we can continue to build, because that's what we meant to do. But when this type of stuff happens and it causes all of this division, then it's like we got an issue. So we wanted to get go ahead, go ahead.
I was saying, this is what this episode is about. The overall show is about just getting people to look in the mirror, to question their own ethics, their morals, and the things that they've been taught. We all understand that behavior is something that is learned, and is also your viewpoint of your lens of the things that you've been through in life, because sometimes life and the troubling things that you've been through and experiences can change your viewpoint on life, or sometimes you just live inside your own bubble and you think your bubble is universal. Now, there was something in that statement that a young man said that bothered me. And what bothered me was when men think they have the right to tell a woman to stay in your role, stay in your lane, right? Because that sounds to me as a reminder of what people talk to slaves like, or black people like. Know your role, stay in your place, da-da-da-this, da-da-da-that, right? And as a culture, or as black people, if we don't want to be dictated to like that by other races, who are we to demean black women, which we come from, to be like that? I don't understand that. I don't understand where the disrespect. I do. The disrespect started coming from the slavery from PTSD from slavery, right? So it's really deeply rooted. Not only that, the propaganda, the influence of music, what's been allowed to be shown on television and film, and colorism, all these different divisions or these different isms versus black people has divided us so far from the women that get out there and be the first ones on the front line if something happens to a black man. So we definitely have to address this. It's not a woman's job to check a man, but it's a man's job to check a man. So we need to start being men and checking our brothers, because it's crazy that everyone's going crazy over WAP, you know what I mean? But no one had nothing to say about R. Kelly or anyone else when they were doing all these other different things. So as men, we need to step up to the plate and use our voices all around, and not just to oppress a black woman, because we don't want to be oppressed as black men.
Right. All right.
So yeah, ladies. So we wanna understand. So you know, I can tell you ready to get it in, Nina. I see it.
The first guest, go ahead and let it go. Go ahead.
No, you know what? You know what? There's a lot of points that I'm trying to get my thoughts together right now. Okay. So I know for a fact that, and it's the thing is, like, one of my friends recently, we did a poll on Facebook. He asked all his female friends and asked us, do you feel protected by black men? Overwhelmingly, we said no. And I said, more so, I'm protected by my male friends. If I'm not, the ones I'm not in a romantic situation with. And I think a lot of the hurt and anger and pain comes from romantic situations that sometimes we get ourselves into, but sometimes also men do not protect us while we're in those relationships. And I think that's part of it. I think it's a lot of different, it's a lot that's in that one statement. And I know who wrote that statement. So, you know, the whole thing, even with the fact of, we don't feel protected. A lot of times we have, you know, we have to be in the workplace, be top head honcho in the workplace. We have to be able to code switch in the workplace. Then we have to go home, take care of house and home by ourselves. And a lot of times some of the brothers don't do what they're supposed to do for their women. I'm not going to say all, because I know a lot of good black men who do what they're supposed to do, but I do know a lot who don't, you know, so. And I'm not going to knock a black man. I love me a black man. I'm going to tell you that right now. But that's what we're not going to do. That's what we're not going to do. But I feel like there is a break amongst us as a whole in the community that needs to be fixed. And with this whole thing came out with Kamala, I think a lot of people are not listening to each other. I think as black women as a whole, and there's some black women on the other side, but most of black women on my timeline, we understand Kamala don't have the best record. We understand that. We understand also that we got to get Trump out of office. And we have to get Trump out of office by putting her in office and putting her feet to the fire when she in office. That's the key. That's what we going to do. And it seems like a lot of brothers are like, well, her crime record, her this record, her that record, but this, she married a white dude. One thing I heard somebody say, she not black. Her daddy Jamaican, a black Jamaican. The both came from everywhere. The both dropped us off in America, South America, and the Caribbean. She black, boo. I'm just tired of people giving so many excuses. Let's do what we have to do as a community and move forward and heal. That's it. I got more.
Hold on, Nina. Hold on, because what you said was, you know, black men ain't doing their job, but you got some sisters out there too that ain't handling their business the way they need to be.
And you know what? And that's true. And that's true.
In the audience out there like that, right? Those people in the comment section. Hold on.
They're doing this. They're doing this.
Relationship.
They grab the air.
I will say this. Since we're talking about roles and jobs, it's a man's job to lead at the same time. Because you want to tell a woman to know their role. Well, we got to get back to our roles in leadership. I mean, we've all suffered a lot going through this slavery and this transition of racism and everything that society has oppressed us with. And sometimes where you don't have no other outlets to take that anger out, sometimes you take it out on the wrong person. And
the person loves you.
I want to be able to say this. I'm sorry, because we have dropped the ball in certain areas. I want to apologize on behalf of all my brothers to every single black woman out there. I'm sorry. It ain't easy being a black man, and I'm not trying to do no justification. I'm not trying to make any excuses. I'm just being honest and being real. We're sorry. We're sorry for the things that we've done and the pain that we have also inflicted on top of the pain of racism, being killed, being murdered out here in these streets. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we still need to tell you, hey, I'm sorry. You're right.
And it's a two-way street. I think a lot of it is that I think sometimes men, I'm gonna say with men, but I think sometimes what happens is that when brothers see their brothers messing up, I'm trying to cuss because I do cuss. I'm sorry. When men see their boys messing up, they a lot of times don't call their friends out on their BS. They allow it. Versus women, we will call our friends out. We were like, yo, I don't condone that. but I see a lot more so men letting things slide. I don't know. That's what I've seen. That's what I've seen
to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to do a better job of stepping up to the plate and checking our men, because sometimes we be like,
Right.
yo, bro, you know that ain't cool, man. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
at the same time, a grown man gonna do what a grown man gonna do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
I do think his circle could be better. I do believe sometimes you do have that one person in the circle. You know what I mean? But not all the time. People just want to feel like they're the man, so they do other things out there to stick their chest out to show.
Right.
You know what I mean? That the confusion of what the man is has been lost,
Right.
in my opinion. And
Let me touch on that real quick. So I'm gonna say this, Nina. So there are, like I said, there are men calling out they brothers, you know what I'm saying, when they drop the ball. But I think that piece comes with maturity, right? Like I said, as you get older and you experience things, then you don't have the same apprehension basically when you have to call somebody out on something. You know, I know you mentioned earlier you're 40 now. I'm 42, so I don't even hold it back. I call somebody out in a minute now. Now, back in my 30s, maybe I would have held that back. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that happens based on maturity. But at the same time, I almost have to generalize this. I feel like as a people, we don't call ourselves on a lot of things. And I'm not saying you got to dime somebody out, right? Like you got to do it, like people like to say, you got to do it with love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, none of us are perfect, right? We all got flaws. And at the end of the day, you know, you may have some information that I need to know to be better. I might have some you need to know to be better, and so forth. But that's all with that mindset and that maturity. So I'll just throw that piece in here. Let me just touch on something real quick. Welcome to, I said, everybody who's joined the live. We got some comments in here right now. We got comments from Chloe Price. She says, that's the problem. Men and women don't play their roles. So yeah, it sounds like she was agreeing with you, Nina. And then also Chloe Price said that part. So yeah, she definitely was agreeing with you.
okay.
And she also said same with women though. So yeah, I think she's talking about calling out each other on, on basically we dropping balls.
Right. Let's get to our other guest and see what she got to say, because she looked like she ready to unload a clip right now.
Come on with it. Come on with it.
Hold on, God.
All I'm saying is I might be condemned after this live stream because my whole thought is the first thing I thought when I heard you say calling somebody out is I wish somebody would have called out my first ex-husband. Now let me make this very clear. My first ex-husband was Black. Okay. And for you to apologize for him, thank you. But at the same time, the stuff that I experienced with that man is what pushed me into the arms of a white man.
Really?
Okay?
Oh, really?
My kids are half white. I've been married twice. I was married to a Black man first, then I was married to a white man. Okay? The stuff I experienced with, and by all means, when we say know our roles, I am very traditional in the way I treat my men. But I am also a very strong, independent Black female as well. Okay? So when it came to both of them, I cooked, I cleaned, but at the same time, I worked, I did my own thing. I was very independent. But I know how to treat a man, regardless of race, period, whatsoever. But the experiences I had with my first husband, okay? And to this day, he still calls me after all these years. We got married when we were 20. I was 21. He was 24. Okay. The reason why I say my experiences with him pushed me into the arms of a white man is because my first ex-husband, he abandoned me for 3 years. I didn't know where he was at. When I found out where he was at, found out he was married before we even got divorced. I had to divorce him by publication because I didn't know where he was at. It wasn't until after I found out where he was at that it wasn't until after I found out where he was at that I found out he was already remarried. Okay. It got to the point to where even after we were divorced, anytime he felt like he wasn't getting what he wanted from his new wife, he would come crawling back to me because he knew everything that I was doing for him, everything that I did for him was how a woman should do and treat the man that she's with loyalty, respect, support, be the backbone, be the rib, stand right by him, all that.
Okay.
Did all that for him. Okay. So it got to a point to where he also allowed his new wife to call me, harass me, all of that. And mentally, it just messed me up.
Okay.
Okay. Back then, I couldn't look at another Black man the same way after being in the relationship I was with him.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes any sense. So I started to seek, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
So I started to seek relationships outside of my race.
Okay.
Okay. But what I found out from that is it doesn't matter what your race is, it's the mentality of the man.
Oh, because I was about to go.
It doesn't matter what your race is. It's the mentality of the man and the way that man was raised, the way that man was lived his life or chose to live his life or portray his life. It doesn't matter the race. So the first thing I thought is when people are bringing up the fact that Kamala ain't Black because she's married to a white man, that's some bullshit. That's some straight bullshit. You know, God gave us the brain, the wisdom, the knowledge. He wanted us to look at everyone as an equal. Okay? And if you know your history, we all came from the same place. At one point, we were all the same skin tone.
Mhm.
Okay? And I didn't come on here to become a history.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Well, no, I'm saying I didn't come on here to give a history lesson.
Give it. Let's learn, because here's the thing.
Time,
We have to give history lessons. We have to talk about that, because if we don't, it's going to continue to be manipulated. It's going to continue to be forgotten, because right now in high school history books, slavery is minimum wage workers. What? The truth isn't being told. The truth is being hidden. So we have to tell our history, because if we don't, then our children won't know.
Yes, you're exactly right. And the thing is that the way I look at the way things are today, everything between the government, between everything has created a total division. But everything starts at home first. Everything starts at home first. I'll be the first to admit, you know, my kids are half white, half Black, but I teach my kids to embrace all of them, because if you don't know struggle, how can you learn anything? You have to know where you came from. You have to understand struggle. You have to understand the struggle to be able to move forward. You have to know
they don't know the struggle. If we don't teach it, they won't know it.
And a lot of people don't know it, unfortunately.
Right.
You know, even today, like I said earlier, people didn't know a Jamaican is Black. I was like, really? And these are college educated people who said this today.
I don't know what college they went to. I don't know what education they got.
You want me to say the schools? I'll say the schools. I want HBCU, but, just saying, like, I was shocked. Like, really? I'm just shocked. I was shocked. I'm just saying. But yeah, I think a lot of it is that, I think we have to, school gonna teach you what the school going to teach you, regardless. But we have, like she said, at home. It starts at home. I don't have kids, but I remember my mom was very, very into making sure I knew Black history and knowing the facts. And I think a lot of times that is not taught at home. People put their kids in front of the TV and that's it. Good. But kids don't know. I think once you really know your history and know where you come from and what stock you come from, you have an automatic confidence about yourself that nobody can take away from you. For me, going to a historically Black college, I will tell you, it showed me that Black people are so diverse in so many different ways. It made me understand that I could not be put in a box to be a Black woman. I could love anything that's not, I don't have to love rap. I could love opera. I could be classical. I could be whatever I want to be, because anyway it goes, I'm still a Black woman in this world. Truth be told.
Exactly. I asked my kids this the other day. They're 13 and 14 years old right now. They're very mature young men for their age. Okay. I asked them this the other day. With everything going on, I asked them, I said, when you look in the mirror or when you're encountering people at school or whatever it is, I said, how do you identify more? I asked them, I said, do you identify more as being Black or white? And both my kids said they identify more with being Black. And then I asked them why they felt that way. And they just said, well, because now their dad, who's no longer in the picture, they've been raised with me and my family. And that's how they identify. But then I turned around and I said, well, you don't consider yourselves white? They said, well, no, we know we're white. And then I said, well, when your friends ask you, because at any time of year, they could look Hispanic, they could look Muslim, they could look Indian, they could look white. When they were born, I was questioned about being their mother because they were so pale. Their skin was so pale. I was asked, are you the legal guardian? Are you the adoptive mother? No, I'm their mother, But when I asked them, I said, well, when your friends ask you what your race is, they told me, I asked them, what is your response when you're asked that? They say, oh, we just tell them we're light skinned.
So let me
That's funny. That's funny.
We got some comments, Quace.
Yeah, I want to. Well, no, we don't have any comments right now. I want to jump into something because I said I'm listening to the story and I said I just feel like there's just something deep rooted there. And I said I like to just hit it with those the blank questions.
I'm good.
Let's get it.
I encourage it.
Hey, Quace, before you
go ahead, man. What's up?
With the question, I just want to say this. This only shows the system that was created is perfect.
It's working. It's working.
Created to continue to divide us, to continue to oppress us, to continue to wipe away our memories, our history, our pride, who we are. And this is why this seed has grown the way it's grown. This is why we have the saga that's continuing to this day, because of how well the system is working. Because we don't know who we really are. We don't have confidence in who we are. We question when we go out in the streets. We're already oppressed. We're wondering if we're going to make it. We're wondering if we're going to be alive. Fight or flight syndrome. Coming home arguing, trying to make money because we barely have the money to keep the roof over our heads the way we want the roof over our heads. The job opportunities, the redlining, everything that we've been through is still a part of our DNA. I don't care if it was Martin Luther King, Emmett Till, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks. It's still in our lineage. It's still in our DNA. It's still part of us, right? And because of all of this, it has birthed where we are right now.
It has.
Today.
It has. And that's why I teach my, like, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me hold on. Let me just execute this real quick. So we got a couple more guests who want to check in. So let me bring them in real quick.
Please do.
Bear with me for 1 second.
This is proof of the system and how it's been oppressive to us and why we are still at the places that we are, and how do we start a healing process from Black people, right? So soldiers, when soldiers go to war, right, they come back and they have PTSD. You see veterans all messed up. That's because there's no program in place to treat them after leaving war. Well, there's never been a program in place for us to be able to heal from slavery because we're still in it. We still live in the evolution of it. We're still hurting right now. We're still fighting right now with all these people losing their lives right now or being beaten and oppressed. And then we still try to have to find some type of peace between us. You know what I mean? It's hard. So how do we start healing from the process?
And with that being said, that's why, and I hate to keep going back to my kids, but with that being said, you know, I after I had this conversation with them, I had to remind them. I said, regardless of how you identify, when you walk out this door, when you fill out a job application, no matter what, because you are come from me, because you are half Black, you're going to be classified statistically on record as a Black man. Regardless of how light skinned you are, society is going to say, oh, you're half Black? No, you're Black.
Right.
Period.
Let me bring these guests in real quick. So we got, looks like we have Coco on and we have Keisha on. Looks like Keish. So yeah, Coco and Keish, just introduce yourself. Just, you know, quick little blurb about yourself real fast so we know who you are. Either one, go first.
Hi, okay, so I'm Coco. Actually, I've been a supporter of the show since its inception, and I really just wanted to take a chance to come on because I thought you guys were having a really good conversation and making some really good points. And instead of kind of kicking my keyboard on my phone, I wanted to be a part of the conversation. So I'm glad that we're having this dialogue because this is something that we tend to talk about amongst each other, but the conversations never go beyond that point. And in order for us to be able to actually affect some change, we have to have this conversation, men and women together, and discuss the problems because we need to bring awareness to it, but then also talk about potential solutions or repair, or we'll just keep spinning our wheels. So I'm glad that we're having a conversation, and thanks for, you know, bringing me in.
Oh, and what do you do? What do you do real quick?
I'm in digital advertising.
Awesome. Is there any website that or somewhere that people can find you, or you know, if they want some of your talents?
Well, I'm not freelance in advertising, but if you want to read any of my writing, you can go to imcprice.com, and that's my personal blog.
Awesome. And our next guest?
All right, we got Keish on here. Keish, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just give us a quick little blurb about yourself, and then we'll get back into the conversation.
Well, Carlos is my cousin, so I'm supporting him.
Okay, you family.
So we family. And, you know, the topic is pretty interesting. It's, for me, I have a lot of cousins, especially from the male point of view.
Your mic, Keith.
Oh, I need it. Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm on my cell phone.
Better, a lot better.
Okay. I'm trying my best to like get them in.
She breaking up a little bit.
I think she might have froze a little bit.
She did freeze.
Yeah, she froze a little bit.
We can carry on, and we'll give Keisha her proper introduction when everything's there.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring her back in once she get her signal together. So let me just put this question out here, because like I said, I like to just come with them hot ones, because at the end of the day, we got to get down to it. So let's get it. So this is how I see it, right? So like I said, this issue that kind of sparked this show, this Kamala Harris issue, this started from her being selected as the VP running mate with Joe Biden, right?
Right.
And when I say this thing exploded, it exploded. So it can't be the politics, right? Because folks don't even really talk politics like that. So that can't be the trigger that caused this thing to explode. So it almost feels like, you know, my sisters, my black women, there is something that y'all are mad at brothers about. That's my assumption, right? And like I said, I want y'all to put that out there, because at the end of the day, that's the only way that we're gonna get anywhere with this thing. That's the only way we're gonna fix anything. We gotta put it out there, because I'm sure that there's stuff that brothers is mad with black women about, right? Because I said at the end of the day, we all in the community. We in relationships with each other. We got kids with each other, and you name it. So something is there. Because like I said, when I see when it starts at Kamala and then it turns into WAP and then Meg Thee Stallion shooting and then Breonna Taylor, is like I said, for me, that's some deep rooted, like there's a problem there. Like something is hot, but we're not really talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure everybody on here has been in some type of relationship, and you know, it's like when you got that beef with your significant other, but you're not talking about it, that thing just be brewing. And then as soon as he come in there and leave that toilet seat up, y'all gonna let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all gonna let him have it. So that's what this feels like. Like this started Kamala Harris, but it's done turned into, like I said, WAP and Breonna Taylor and Meg Thee Stallion getting shot. Like it's all type of stuff. So I'm like, it's something that's sitting there that we're not talking about. So like, you know, go ahead, just put it out there. I want to know what it is.
In my opinion, because like I said, I've been all over the world. I've dated men of all types of races, everything. I believe it's us as Black women have been, for all of our lives, our ancestors' lives, everything, we have been underestimated of the power we hold.
Okay.
Yep.
We have been underestimated with the power we hold. You know, and the strength that we have and the resilience we have to be able to bounce back and deal with anything that's thrown at us. And a lot of times, a lot of people look at that as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When Black women specifically are put in positions of power, okay, we've already been stereotyped to be the angry Black woman. We don't know how to control our attitudes. We don't know how to do this. We don't know how to do that. When in all actuality, if you give us a chance, we can show you how to do it, and probably can show you how to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
But people are threatened by the power of a Black female. So then it takes, we get that power taken away from us, because when we do express ourselves, or we do decide, you know what, forget it, if they can do it, we can do it too, we're shamed. And I think that's where a lot of our anger and for myself in my past, it took me a lot of years and a lot of stuff to learn to get to the point to where I am today.
Okay.
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 In the military, I was a female in a predominantly male field. I was in charge of 30 plus men at one point, older than younger than me, at all races.
Are we talking white males or Black males?
All.
Okay. All right.
All.
Go ahead.
All. And I had to prove myself. You know, I had to prove that I could do it just as good, if not better. But even if I proved it, or even if I showed you that I could do it, there have been many times where I didn't make the grade because, oh, she's just a Black female, you know. Yeah, she showed us she could do it, but you know what? This is a male's job. This is a man's job. I think men in general are threatened, or honestly, I think men in general often, not all men, but most men in general are threatened by the power that a Black female holds.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
I have a different.
And those that are threatened, they feel like they have to put us in our place. And a Black woman, well, for me, I'll be the last person you're going to put in my place if I know I'm not wrong. I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong, but if I know I'm right, you ain't going to put me in my place. I'm going to have something to say.
It's okay.
Clearly. I think that that's, to me, I feel like I hear it in your response, and I think that if there's a lot of truth in what you just said, but I think what's happening is we that has been a struggle, right? As Black women, we have been discredited. But I'll be honest, in my experience, have most of the discrediting that I've experienced has not come from the Black man. Like I can't say that, and this is just my personal experience, obviously, but I can't say that it's come from the Black man. I am in a field, advertising in general, that's predominantly Caucasian.
Right.
So
That's why I said
um,
men in general. But
yeah,
go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
predominantly Caucasian. So yes, I have been marginalized. I absolutely have been discriminated against as a Black person and as a woman. But I feel like most of that has come at the hand of, Caucasians and those with the authority in those positions and with the power. And I think what's happening, just bringing it back to the divide between Black men and Black women, I think the way that affects the way we react to each other is, as women, we bring all of that into our relationships, and we bring all of that into our marriages and our relationships and dealing with our friends, and we bring all of that baggage with us. And you guys talked about PTSD earlier, and it's
Right.
real. And we're internalizing it, and we bring that into our relationships. And now anytime our man, and I'm not going to say it's not some men out there who are immature, who are easily threatened by a strong woman, because that exists. That's a real problem. But then I also think there's a problem with women misinterpreting a equally as strong male as someone who wants to dominate. Because let's just be honest, we do all have roles, and you mentioned it earlier. As the woman, just biblically and spiritually, because that's always the perspective I'm going to come from, we are meant to complement our men.
Right.
We are meant, and it's not just and it's not just in a relationship either. It's general. It's in life. That's the structure. And what's happening is we're not honoring the structure, right? It's Christ is man, then it's woman, and it's children. And the problem is, because we've internalized all this hurt from being marginalized at times, from being discriminated against at times, we're taking all of that and we're turning it against the person that's closest to us, which is the Black man. When he also is dealing with his own
Vice versa.
PTSD,
Right.
his
Right.
own
Exactly.
challenges, his own
Right.
discrimination, his own
Right.
marginalization, and we're both hurt. Hurt people, and we're both hurt, and we're just this is what we are all the time. Which is why something which should have been about politics, which should have been just about Kamala and her track record, which is sketchy at best, which it should have been about that, it turned into, well, it's just because she's a woman. When if you really had a conversation with a man that knows what he's talking about, and is not just talking outside of his neck, he probably could give you some real concrete reasons why he might, be against having her as a VP. And it probably won't have anything. Her being a woman will probably be the last thing on the list. Now, these silly people talking about she's married to a wife, you just have to ignore that's clutter, and it's a distraction. But to internalize that and to turn it against each other, that's what the real problem is. And I feel like we have to get to the root of what that is. And I think part of it is us not assuming our roles in life, our life roles. If a woman cannot be okay with being a woman and being in any kind of relationship, a friendship, a marriage, any type of relationship, and be able to assign her role, because yes, that sometimes that I can do it too mentality can be a blessing and a curse. Because of course you can do it too. Of course we can do it too. Of course we're strong. Of course we're powerful. But playing our role doesn't make us any less strong or any less powerful.
Exactly. And I played both my roles. Like I said earlier, before you came on, I'm traditional in the way that I treat my man that I'm with, but at the same time, I'm a very independent person. So I totally agree with you, that we are supposed to complement the men that we are with. We're supposed to be the backbone, the rib. I'm with you on that. I completely agree with
But I
that.
think it's deeper
Let
than
me
that.
let me touch something real quick that you said though. So earlier you made a statement and you said that the relationship or the interaction that you had with that brother, that kind of pushed you to get with a white guy. I think is that, did I remember that?
Mhm.
That's kind of how you said it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And see, for me, that's like internal, like you hurt, like he hurt you. You know what I'm saying? He hurt your feelings.
Mhm.
So it's like will that play out in interactions with black men going forward because of the interaction that you had with that one?
It's
When I
like,
was young, yeah, when I was young, it definitely did. It
Okay.
definitely did. But as you get older, you learn with age. And I've definitely learned with age, you know, that and this is why, like, I also followed that up with, it doesn't matter the race. It took me a long time to learn. It didn't matter the race.
right.
Men are going to do what most men do when they're put in certain positions. So yeah, in the beginning when I was young and I was still learning a lot about life, and even today I'm still learning about a lot about life. Yeah, it definitely did have an impact on my future relationships with other black men.
But you're not the only woman that feels that way. A lot of
Right.
women have been hurt and have felt that way. I want to make sure we give the young lady right here an opportunity to speak just as well.
And Nina, you want to say
Thank-
something, Nina? Or is that Keish or Nina?
Yeah. Can
Go
you
ahead,
guys hear
Keish.
me?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Keish. Go ahead.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, cool. All right, so I feel what the lady said in regards to dating outside of your race. I'm 31 flavors. I don't have a problem. I
Yeah.
love black men, and I have dated a lot of black men, but the same process when it comes to the thought structures of a black man is consistent from what I ran into. As an independent woman, I'm very educated. I have master's degrees. I have businesses. I'm very educated. I'm very, very educated. And it's hard for me to find or to see outside of my family black men who are strong and that can move forward versus
Right.
trying to put me in a position where they're holding onto my coattail. Like one of my comment was, I actually lived with 3 men recently, 3 of them, all at the same time. One of them was my fiance, one was my family, and another was a friend. And I pretty much carried them by myself financially. I got us a home, I got us all these
Yes.
things, and I watched them. And in my mind, I didn't understand why there wasn't any motivation to do what I do. Like none of them did anything. They just like my cousin. He tried. He put forth an effort, but it was like there was a disconnect somewhere that all of them didn't come together and make things happen. I can create 5 jobs out of the air and pull in money. That's not a problem for me. But I watch these 3 men and they're all struggling. Every last one of them.
Now,
Go ahead.
part of that, I would say, is because of systemic racism and oppression that people have to face. Part of that, some people just damn lazy. Let's just call it what
That
it is.
too. Mm-hmm.
But I do want to ask this question just as well, because it applies to me for things that I've been through in my journey of life. And I'll call it laws of attraction. Who are we being and what are we attracting into our life because what we're being? So we can't just blame everything on the counterpart of what we attracted or what we allowed into our life. And what we have to do is internalize, why did we allow this into our life? Why wasn't I attracted to that? Why? Because if we want to go Bible-based, the Bible says protect your heart with all due diligence. So why wasn't I protecting my heart in this situation? And to do the same thing and expect change over and over again is insanity. So no matter how many relationships these ladies have all been in, the common denominator is yourself in all of these different relationships. And myself too. So
Mhm.
anything that I've been through personally, I can't blame no one else. I can only look at me and say, okay, when this situation came, how did I handle it? How did I react? Do I find myself reacting to problems or issues in the same manner with different people and expecting different results?
Right.
So there's accountability that we have to have within ourselves. And at the same time, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. The PTSD, the oppression, not having the same opportunity. And sometimes it's easier to go out and have a white person in your life because they don't face the same type of oppression. They get
Mhm.
to wake up in a nice home. They get to the girls get to grow up and be more feminine in that situation. They don't have to worry about robbing Peter and Paul just to pay bills or trying to put $1 in a child's name because they are already financially settled from just slavery and heritage and reparation. So that
Mhm.
road of life and that path is a lot easier where you can grow up in more friendly environment versus someone who is fighting to be the rose that come out of the concrete. So we have to look at that as well. So I wanted to address one last thing. And someone talked about how black women are always looked at angry, or the angry black woman syndrome, right? And the reason why I wanted to address that as a black man, because I feel like they have the right to be angry. What if you were the most cultural appropriated person in the world and got no credit? What if you were raped and had your children taken from you? How would you feel? What if you had to breastfeed someone else's child? How would you feel? You have to look at the struggle and the plight of this journey of what it's like to be a black woman. Because if you ever had to walk a day in their shoes, you wouldn't call them angry anymore. What about growing up and being a little girl and being touched in the home, but nobody wants to talk about Uncle Johnny? And when she tries to come tell the truth, the Uncle Johnny touched her. No one wants to talk about that, and it gets swept under the rug. And now her
Right.
beauty is taken from her, and she has to go out into the world with messed up and broken lenses. And then a gentleman walks up to her and be like, "Yo, why she stripping? Why she twerking? Why she doing this?" And you come up with so many different judgments. And so I just find it crazy how it's so simple to call a person out their name than it is to get to know their history and what they've been through. Because maybe if
Right.
you knew what they've been through, you would talk to them the way you talk to them. You might have some
Mhm.
more understanding. And if you're not willing to understand, you need to get your punk ass out the way and let the right person come in and understand and try to love her and to heal. Because right now, what I keep hearing through the conversation is hurting each other. Period.
Mhm.
Instead of trying to grow and love through it and trying to have
Right.
patience and understanding, because nothing is easy. And the crazy part about it is, I don't care if they do have 80% of the more financial wealth. They got divorce rates too. They kill each other too. They got problems too. They cheat too. The grass is not greener on the other side. So sometimes we propose the situation in life as if the white counterpart is so much better, but the road might be easier, but they have their own problems too. And the
Right.
crazy thing is, their problems is just as bad as our problems, but we don't have half of the privileges that they have. But
Right.
if we had their type of situation, would it be easier to get along? Would it be more peaceful in the house? Could we address some of this PTSD or these issues? Because if we do something wrong, we go to jail. They do something
Yeah.
wrong, they get counseling. It's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let me
Y'all
let
got
me
me.
touch on Nina. Did you want to
Well,
say something? Go ahead, Nina.
I was just saying the whole thing with PTSD, and sometimes me and my friends joke around about it, but we actually are serious. You know, mental health in the Black community is something that needs to be talked about. Let's start there. We
Yes.
need couch time. We need couch time, all of us, not
Yes.
just from the youngest to the oldest. We all need couch time because it's not just our generation. This is stuff that stemmed from generations from back on the slave ship when we got here. Truth be told,
Yeah.
and so it's like you said, stuff can get swept underneath the rug, stuff that the abuses, the atrocities, everything gets swept underneath the rug, and eventually you have so much dirt underneath there, it's gonna come out. And right now,
Oh, yeah.
it's coming out. It's coming out
Forget
in so many different
slavery, but
ways.
remember 9/11. Forget slavery, but remember the Holocaust.
Right,
What?
right.
To
And
touch on the grand
sometimes,
scheme, you know?
right, and it's sometimes, especially being Black in general, I'm not saying Black woman, Black man, especially when you're in a corporate environment, you cannot be that. You have to be, "Hi, I'm Christina. How are you doing today?"
Right. You got to
That's
coach them.
tiring.
You got to
That's
coach.
tiring. You got to code switch. And I think sometimes people don't understand that. It is tiring. It is exhausting. And even like the fact of the matter is that when you come to your Black man or come to your Black family, we should be supportive of each other. And a lot of times we're not. You know,
So Nina,
when you
so,
Each other hand.
That's
okay,
right.
so you bring
I
up a
have
good.
been I'm sorry. I've been
No, you good.
condemned so many times. When I was with my kid's father, I have been degraded, insulted by so many black men because of the choice I made to be with a white man when I was with a white man. You know, even growing up in high school, a lot of the black girls that I went to high school with didn't like me because I had the long hair and I spoke very proper. But at the same time, the white girls only liked me because my lips weren't big and juicy and full, but I had the pretty long hair and I spoke very proper. You know, I have been degraded by all races all my life, that eventually I had to just say to myself, you know what, just be happy with who you are.
right, right.
Yeah.
I
So
agree
you-
with that statement when you say that, right? And at the same time, I look at that statement and I look at the history of that statement because yes, you've been disrespected and it shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? But when you're born black, that's part of being black with having a target on you. But if you look at the history of what our white counterparts have done to black women just as well, and we look into the roots of that just as well, and that deep threshold and how that well goes and how they plan from Jim Crow laws and the Black Code laws was to break up the black families, to destroy that. You know what I mean? That's a part of the history that gets forgotten too. You know what I mean? That needs to be addressed just as well because they've raped, they've called you out your name, they've done so many different things, took your children from you. That is a part of it too. Now we are living in a society today, but we can't act like the DNA isn't in our history or in our bodies, that we still have to learn how to unite every single color of the crayon box to be able to live peacefully. Because at the end of the day, we're all people. At the end of the day, everyone comes from a black woman. And this is what pisses me off the most. Fellas, I'm not gonna lie. You can love whoever you want to love. But whatever you choose, you don't have to go back and degrade a black woman. If you love a white woman, cool, who cares? But don't be like, black women ain't this, black women ain't that. Your mama black, your sister black, your cousin black, your auntie black. What are you doing? What are you talking about? How? That makes no sense to me.
Yep.
And financially, when we do make it, we wonder why we still struggle because the money leaves. And if something happens to you, it goes back to the other community. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Cultural appropriation is real. So we have to do a better job. If you love who you love that. But you don't have to be disrespectful to no black woman. Period.
Exactly.
So I want to go back real quick. Last time I'm taking notes on this conversation. Like I said, I want to get down to the bottom of this thing. So Keish, she was talking earlier and she made a statement and she said she is an independent woman. Keish, what does that mean? Because I hear that a lot. So I hear a lot of women saying that they independent women. What does that mean to you, Keish?
That means that I can handle all of my bills and I don't need a man in my life. I want one, but if push comes to shoves, I don't need you. I don't physically like financially, I don't need you. Like it's sad to say, but I'm gonna say it. Like maybe as my sexual counterpart, if that's what I need at the time.
That makes me so
Honestly,
sad when women say
I hate to say. I mean, I'm not trying to say it like in a bad way. I'm just saying in general. Like
I understand though.
Look,
it's hard out there.
I want a partner, but I want somebody who's a partner that I can be a partner with. Somebody that's not dependent on me. I don't need
another child.
I have a kid. I have a kid on the way. I have one child on the way. This is my first baby. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 at the end of the month. This is my first child.
Congratulations. Hold on real quick. When's your birthday? When's your birthday? Because I'm in the month too.
26, baby.
August 29th. Yeah.
Let us pray right now, dear Heavenly Father.
But what I'm saying is, I like the whole thought process of what most women have gone through, especially if you've been raised in the church. Our goal has always been you need to have a man so he could provide for you and you could be his helpmate. That means cook, clean, all that good stuff. Now that I'm past that age, I'm past the 25-year-old, I'm past the 20, I've never been married. I've been engaged twice. So it's like I'm now past that point. And so I had to learn to defend or to protect myself. I had to learn to fend for myself. I had to learn to provide for myself. I had to be my own person. I am a complete person without somebody else. But now that I'm at this point, I find more people or the men that I've been around outside of my family are not equivalent to what I need. They're not whole, complete people. So we have a conflict.
I see an issue there though, because see, at the end of the day, I understand the concept of the independent woman. I understand a woman saying that she doesn't need a man. But I have to go back to the foundation. Like I said, 'cause I always like to get down to the root of these things. Black women were made for black men, and vice versa. Black men were made for black women. So when a woman says that she doesn't need a man, I'm not sure how accurate that is, because at the end of the day, we need each other. So regardless if you're saying that a man he's not coming to the basically what I'm interpreting by what you're saying is you've come across men that have not come to the table equipped and ready to provide for the family, right?
Yes.
That's different, because not all men are in that place. Some men are ready. Well, a lot of men are ready to provide and build a family with their black woman. You know what I'm saying? Because they know their role. Because I'm hearing a lot of role issues in this conversation. But as a black woman, when you lead with "I'm an independent woman," that doesn't really tell a man that you're ready, you know what I'm saying, to be with a companion and to build and to grow and to move forward. That basically sounds like what you just told us. Like basically you don't really need no man. So you can do it all on your own. So basically, you know what I'm saying, that's for him. I'm sure that's probably just going to be a turnoff.
And I feel that, and I understand that, and it's not something that I'm like, I'm proud to be independent, yes, but in the same breath, I understand not all men are like that. That I do know. Like I said, I have a great foundation within my family. They're strong men, so I know what it looks like to have them around. But I don't know what it looks like to have one around for me. I'm still in that position. I'm not closed off to that. I know how to play a woman in a woman's role, but as I stated before, with the years that I've spent and the many relationships that I've been in, and I've had long-term relationships to the point of marriage, but at the end of the day, none of them were able to rise up to that level to be the family man that I need, to be the leader that I'm looking for, to be that person. So it forces me to be my own breadwinner.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at.
But I think a lot of black women, especially, I know when I growing up, my mother was very adamant about make sure you could take care of yourself. I think the thing, what the problem is missing is that sometimes we do become too independent, or we don't even allow anybody to do anything for us because it's so used to taking care of ourselves.
Yeah,
and I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
I learned that my ex told me that, oh, you too independent. I'm like, what you mean? I want to get my breaks done, but
I need to get my
I
own
don't want to wait for you. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with your mother in that scenario. You should know how to have your own, right?
Right.
But there's the balance in that equation just as well. Because when you don't have your own, that leaves yourself vulnerable for someone to take advantage of you not being able to stand on your own 2 feet. So I 100% agree that every woman out there should be able to stand on their own 2 feet. You have your own talent, you have your own purpose, you have your own contract with God that He has put you on assignment for you to be able to do. At the same time, there is a balance in that where, it's almost kind of like when you're talking about praying. And if the power of prayer, when we all come together, how much more powerful that is. So my question to you ladies and myself is, who are we selecting? Because sometimes good men come around, but that ain't the one you want. You want Tyrone, you want this person, you want that person. And that might not be what you need.
And that's
So
really not true.
go after what looks
I
nice.
went through that phase.
I'm not saying all.
I'll say I went through that phase, but to go back to what she was saying, it wasn't my mom that told me to be an independent woman. It was my dad. I am a daddy's girl. My dad
whoever said it, the principle's still the same though. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's how do you be independent and still have the balance of allowing someone being able to grow with someone? Because if you have two people are just independent, how are you supposed to build together? It's finding someone that you can be, you know what I'm saying, that you're independent with, that you guys can come intertwined. Because
right.
when you get married, you
though.
are becoming one. So how do you take two separate people on two separate paths and allow those paths to come together, where I'm helping you build your dream and you're pushing me and supporting me as I go towards my dream to fulfill our contract? Because the contracts that we have to fulfill is when we have children, to be able to pass down to them so they can have something coming up. Because if our children only see two separate independent people or whatever else, then that's a problem, because there's no unity. That's the point. The point of it is how do we find someone that we can come together with to create unity through the good and the bad? Because the bad is what helps you grow. You'll never see a rainbow without rain, but sometimes we never want to get to the rainbow because we're so busy complaining about the rain and looking at someone else on social media or over there or this or that or this person's in your ear. How do we start collectively coming together to have healthier conversations like this? Because we got to have conversations like this in our relationship.
I agree.
Because it ain't always going to be, rose petals and bubbles. How do we, when we have conflicts like this, how do we say, hey, baby, let me take you out on a date? Let's just go out and go talk about it, instead of being in the emotional, you wait, and then, you know what I'm saying? And all the way from all of our other problems, we're just vomiting on each other. And we wonder why they ain't working.
Well, for me, like when it comes down to that, like I said in my comment, I live with 3 men, and I gave them I try to make sure that I give people an opportunity to step up, because at the end of the day, this is your opportunity to stand. I can do it. But if I can't leave when it's my house, it's my house.
You should have put their asses out.
I did. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying in general.
I love my cousin. I don't know who the other dude is, but at the end of the day, if you don't want to do your job or your responsibility, and I'm giving you opportunity after opportunity, your track record says you don't want to be here. I didn't say it. You said it. So since you don't want to be here, there's the dough.
Well, that's what I did.
And great, you ain't got to be ugly about it. You ain't got to be, get your shit.
I don't do that.
I'm not saying you.
That is not me.
Remember, it's a show. It's a show. So we're talking about in general, because there's
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
because we've all seen videos where other Black women have been hurt. You had a female hurt so bad she took gasoline to another dude's car, set on fire, and blew herself.
But that comes from
So I'm talking about for those females that choose to go that route that are hurting that bad. Not you specifically. I'm talking about all the viewers that might be watching.
Okay, so let me break it down like this. This is what my bishop said. When you're an eagle, especially a female eagle, a female eagle will take a small branch and test the male eagle, just to see how much he can handle. And each time the female eagle starts to soar, she puts down another branch that's a little bit bigger. And it keeps going until she has that branch that is equivalent to her size and her weight. And if that male eagle can capture that and hold on to it and carry it, then that's her mate. In that same process, in that same thought, I believe that women need to try men and allow men to prove themselves. That was my failure. I don't allow people to prove themselves because I can handle it on my own. But I've learned that you have to show and prove, and there has to be some type of, like you said earlier, there has to be some type of guard around your heart where people have to go through steps just to get to the value of who you are. But they can't do that if you don't know your own worth. And that's where we as Black women, I believe that we as Black women have buried our worth somewhere along the line, because we're in survival mode. At the end of the day, we're mostly in survival mode, just trying to get past the racism, get past the systematic.
That's Black people, not just Black women, but just Black people.
I'm talking right now from the Black woman's perspective, because that's what you brought up in regards to relationship. And if we're going to find like a common bond at some point, I can speak from a Black woman and a Black person, but as a Black woman, I know for myself that, and the other ladies on the panel can agree, that our worth sometimes is diminished, not just because of society, but what we put, the harm that we put on ourselves to try to be better. And what we've been taught, I know when I was 7 years old, I was told that I had to be 2 times better, 3 times better than my white counterpart. That same stigma is still in my head. And I fight against that person. I don't fight against any other woman. I have no qualms with any other woman. It's me mentally. And I'm learning to be kind to myself in that regards.
Let me respond to you though. I think that's a lot of the issue, right? So like I said, when I see these things that I would consider simple, like I said, just tying back to the whole Kamala Harris announcement and all of that's been blowing up lately. I look at these things as very simple, right? But then they turn into these huge issues, and essentially they just turn into blow-ups. And I think it comes down to the fact that as Black folks, we have lost sight of the fact that we all are in a constant state of defense. Yeah, we're always trying to defend our titles at work. You know, we're trying to defend our role. You know, we're trying to defend from people trying to take advantage of us, people trying to take things from us that, you know, that have been withheld from us from years. We're just always dealing with something. And I think as Black men and Black women, we end up taking that out on each other because it's easy. So, you know, as soon as a brother says, hey, I'm not feeling Kamala, the Black women, they go off. Because it just brings back all these memories. It brings back all of these things that they deal with on a regular basis. So they go off. And it's the same with Black men. You know what I'm saying? When we hear a Black woman say, you know, oh, Cam Newton, he ain't nothing, then we going off. Because it's like, wait a minute, you dogging this brother, this, that, and the third. And that wasn't even the intention of that Black woman when she made her statement or voiced her opinion, right? So we just end up blowing up and going at each other. And I think that's the piece that we have to get back to understanding. Like, as a Black man and a Black woman, we are not each other's enemies. Yeah, we have all types of enemies outside of us and outside of our relationships and outside of our families. And like I said, we continue to let these enemies kind of bleed in to our energy, and then we offload that energy on each other. And then at the end of the day, you know, the Kamala Joe Biden situation turns into a Kwesi, you know, bucking with Nina, or Kwesi bucking with Andrea, and it's like, now we fight, and this ain't got nothing to do with us. But it's like because we so passionate about what we do, we just end up fighting all of these battles that really aren't even our fights. And then it just keeps us divided. So then as a Black man, then, you know, as I go into a relationship with a Black woman, I'm not coming correct. You know what I'm saying? Just like Keach was saying. Or, you know, as I come into a relationship with a woman, I don't treat her right, you know, similar to what Andrea was saying. So it's like we got to keep perspective on what's really happening and what our real enemies are, because it's not each other.
Well, that's the system. But that goes back to what I was saying earlier. No, you can go ahead, Coco. You have a Coco.
Oh no, what I was just gonna say, but I mean, I think that I feel like the root there. First of all, there's a lot of different roots to this to make up this overall issue. But this is why it's so important, like you said, Carlos, for us to have, and Keish touched on it, for us to have that balance, right? For us to be able to have the male role be the protector and the provider. And the provider don't necessarily mean he's making a ton of money. I mean, I think that sometimes we've gotten away from what these roles actually mean. The man might not be the one in the relationship that's making the majority of the money, but he still is in that role. And as women, we still have to respect it, right? Because he might be contributing in other ways. He might be bringing the organization, the protection, the structure to the house. He's taking care of the home. Things falling apart, he's fixing them. He's picking up the kids. He's dropping. So it's different. That role looks different. It doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, maybe like you said, Keisha's very, very educated. That's going to put her in a different income bracket. So the man that she ends up with might be making more money, but that doesn't necessarily take away from his role
or his value
as a man,
or his value. But we've been talking about the women. Let's talk about the men, because I think another part of it is women. We have had to step up in ways in which sometimes we don't want to, because the men have taken a step back. And we have to address that, okay? We have to address that. We can't just
my
get
church
on the women.
fan
Don't
at?
get me wrong. As women, we do things. Okay, yes, we have done the independent women thing, Beyonce. But at the same time,
we don't always want to.
We're forced. A lot of us were forced into these roles because the men wouldn't assume them. And I'm not saying, listen, I know the history, okay? I know Black men, what you've been through. So I'm not trying to erase that or act like that's not a factor. It is. But at the same time, yes, we've been through some things as well. So at what point are you Black men going to say, I have to be able to rise above what I've experienced, or else they keep me trapped? See what I'm saying? The oppressor.
Not just that.
You have to be able to rise above it and assume your role. If you can't, I have to feel comfortable that you can lead me. Like, I want to be led. I want you to be the leader.
Listen,
okay, I want you to pray over the food. Okay, I want you to be the protector. I want you to be the flat. I want you to I want you to do all that. Okay, I want you to do that. But I tell you that my tire flat, and you looking at me like, well, what do you want me to do about it? Yeah, I mean, I feel like I got to do something, right? So the man has willingly stepped back and allow women to assume these leader roles, to assume the role of the man in a relationship. And unfortunately, it has caused women in some cases to have less respect for the male's role in the relationship and just the male's role in society. So I feel like we cannot ignore the fact that because we are not respecting these roles, it is chipping away at our foundation. And we have to get back to this point. There's a reason why God structured it that way, because he knew that we would end up here. And we have to get back to the structure and the way that it was intended to be, because if we do, when I'm beat down, when I'm stressed out, when I'm hurt, when I've been marginalized, when I've been cold switching all day and I'm just tired, I can come home to my Black man and he can say, well, my day wasn't that great either, but you know what? We're going to lift each other up. I'm going to go in here and pour you a glass of wine. Okay, boo, I'm finna get you a scotch, and we're going to sit on the couch and we're going to talk about it. And you're going to vent to me, and I'm going to vent to you, and I'm going to lift you up, and you're going to lift me up. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
And let me add to that, not just rise up, but you got to maintain that. Because I've been in relationships where we were both doing what we were supposed to do, but he got so comfortable with me doing what I'm supposed to do in my role and doing it so well that he was like, oh, she got this.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And then he backtracked.
Because like once you as women, especially that most of us are 40 and over, we know what we can do and we bring that to the table. Exactly. And a man can bring that to the table too. And sometimes the failure comes where both of us are bringing it to the table and one wants to give out because you're like, oh, well, you're strong enough to handle it. And it's like, but I don't want to do it by myself because we can do it together.
But that's a whack dude though. See, now we gotta start looking at
selection. Thank you, Gracie.
Yeah, no, real talk. So now
that
we
comes
gotta
with time
start looking
though.
No, like I said, this not no knock at the ladies, because I said I understand things happen, and sometimes a dude will show you something just to get in the door, and then he'll BS later. So
Yes.
I'm not knocking that at all. But now we got to be looking at the right things. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, as I'm hearing you say that, see, I never would do that. Like, just because we get in a relationship and I see that you can handle some biz, don't mean I'm about to fall back and let you be handling all the biz. See, that's not a man. So see, now we gotta actually pay attention to what type of dudes are we entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Because all dudes ain't created equal. There's some bum cats out here.
Yeah.
Let me keep it real.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, let me keep it real too. There's some bum women out here. So let
Yep.
me just keep it all the way real.
Yep.
So we definitely got to pay attention to who we let into our space and who we try to build with and grow with. Because I said, just some of that stuff that you just said, I'm over here getting pissed off because I'm like, that ain't no real man. Like I said, I wish I would, you know what I'm saying, partner up with a woman that I'm, you know, calling my wife, and then fall back and be letting her carry the load. Like that don't work. That's not how that go.
That's
And
not
you know what I'm saying? I gotta go back to some old school teachings. Like my pops and my mama, they didn't instill no nonsense like that up in me. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? When I'm with a woman, I'm with a woman. And like I said, she don't have to deal with none of that. I'm taking care of tires, I'm taking care of gas, I'm taking care of repairs, I'm paying bills, this, that, and the third. So that type of conversation don't even exist. But if that type of stuff is happening and y'all are seeing that, then we also have to look at who we're selecting to partner up and build with. Because I said that's important. And you got to look at those things early on, because there's always signs of that stuff. You know, women and men will always reveal signs of that type of stuff early on. But sometimes because it's so comfortable, we'll look past those things. But we will see those things early. Like I said, you might pull up to the gas pump and that brother sit there. That's the sign. That's a tip off that cat might not be shit. And the fact that he about to let you get out and pump some gas right there, you might be like, nah, hold on, bro. I don't care how much you like them. We got to pay attention to those signs. While I got this, like I said, I just want to touch on one thing. At the end of the day, I truly believe we are made for each other, right? Like I said, black men, black women, we literally were created for each other. And I've seen the benefits of it. When we come together and we connect, I mean, like, we unstoppable. I hope y'all have seen it too. Like, we literally are unstoppable. But we gotta stop all of this fighting. We gotta stop all of this arguing, because at the end of the day, like I said, we not each other's enemy. Like I said, I understand, you know, I seen guys making comments about Kamala Harris, and some of the stuff that I saw was about her, you know, some of the policies that she supported and this, that, and the third, her DA time or whatever it was. So I saw some of that stuff, but I also know what it turned into. It just turned into a big old fight. And I'm like, as black men and black women, like I said, that's something that we got to actually look into and try to stop doing, because at the end of the day, we not enemies. Like I said, we fighting enough battles on the day to day. I'm sure you ladies deal with it at work. You deal with it once you step out the house, because at the end of the day, I don't know if y'all realize this, but all these ladies want to be like y'all. Like, real talk. All these ladies want to be like y'all. They want all of y'all features. They want to have y'all swag. They want to have y'all energy. They want to be looked at the same way that brothers look at y'all when y'all walk down the street. Like, they want to be just like y'all. So I understand a lot of the oppression, the pressure, the issues, the you know, the discrimination. I understand it, because like I said, as brothers, we deal with a lot of those same things. But we got to do better with not bringing that pressure or that frustration back to each other. Right. Because it just kills us. It just divides us, and it just keeps us separated. And that's the last thing we need, is to be separated.
And a lot of times in those arguments, Quay, half the time we don't even be arguing about each other. Half the time it could be a memory from somebody else that you just taking out right now on this person, because this is the person that's in front of you. And that's why I said when I think it was Nina was talking about the couch. the couch in Black society has to become a real thing. We have to heal from traumas, because sometimes you can get into an argument and you be like, wait, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes things are, and that's from both sides of the perspective. You got a lot of dudes that are hurt and be like, yo, I'll never let a chick hurt me again. So I'm gonna wild out. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that because they hurt. You know what I'm saying? And so they like, fuck it. I'll never be vulnerable again. Why would I put myself in that position? I'm gonna get what I can get, do what I can do, and I'm gonna bounce. You know what I mean? And all that stems from pain. All that stems from the absence of real love. Because when you don't have real love, you will fill that empty black hole with any and everything from sex, drugs, alcohol, arguments, whatever, just to fill that space from hurting. Because most of the time when we're arguing, it's because we don't want to feel how we feel anymore. We don't want this pain, so we want to throw this pain somewhere else. And some of the times we throw it on the person that's closest to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes we sabotage our own selves or our own relationships by not dealing with what's at hand instead of putting it in an loving situation where you can be loved. Can I love you in your pain? Will you allow me to love you while we hurt? You know what I'm saying? And vice versa.
And you know,
one last thing. And men, you have to be able to be open and vulnerable with your woman. But sometimes it's hard to be open and vulnerable with women because it's, oh, you a bitch. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. When the argument happens. See, you put, sometimes women allow you to be vulnerable, and then the same vulnerability that you give, not just women, but people. Let me just say people. People will sometimes take your vulnerability and then try to throw your vulnerability back in your face, which makes you more closed off, which makes it harder to have these type of healing conversations. Because what this conversation is a conversation of healing. Because now we're able to all put this out here and see this systematic thing and oppression and love and us arguing, or the understanding of Black women and Black men come back together to how it's supposed to be. So I want to thank all of our guests for coming on the show. I want to thank you guys for being vulnerable and brave enough to say your opinion, to tell your truth, because you don't know who's watching and how you just affected their life. And the only way for a testimony to work, because, excuse me, all of you guys are living testimonies because you're, like you said, 40 plus or whatever else, you know what I'm saying? Which means you survived this world and everything that it threw at you to get to the age of 40. It's a testimony. And a testimony is no more than a person who passes a test that shares his happiness. Test and money. And only way to have a testimony is to pass your test and to share your happiness. And that's what we're doing right now. We're sharing different pains and traumas that we've been through, but we are a testimony because we're here being able to share that with the rest of the world. And that's the beautiful thing about this show.
Let me do this real quick. So we got about 5 minutes. So just question out to the ladies. Just anything, anything additional that you guys may want to say before we get ready to wrap up. I'll start with and let me know if I'm saying this right. Is it Andrea or Andrea?
Both.
Give us one.
I've heard about 6 different ways to say it, but
your mama call you Clay. I'm gonna call you Clay.
What's the right way? What's the right way?
Most common, Andrea.
Okay, Andrea, did you anything you want to get out before we get ready to wrap up?
I just would like, and I pose this question to you men. Why is it that, before we wrap up, and maybe for next show or whatever, why is it? Let's get it. Yeah. Why is it that it takes for you to realize what you've lost, to realize why does it take you losing what you had to realize what you lost?
Life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd like to know that question.
Life.
I'd like to know how y'all feel about that.
Andrea, you said you're not the same as you were when you were 20 because now you're 40 and you're older. So the same choices the same choices or experiences now, because of life and the lessons that it taught you, you're not the little girl that you used to be. And because of that, you see life differently. Life, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's the beautiful thing about going through a storm, because you have to learn to get to the rainbow. Most people complain about storms, but the storms are where you find your blessing. The storms are where you find your growth. The
You
storms
sharpen
have
yourself.
made you the person that you are today. Your storms have become the blessings to your children because now you can help navigate them through the storm. So they don't have to go through the same thing. So just life sometimes.
Yeah, my response to that is I feel like just through time as a people, especially as black men, I'll just speak from the perspective of the black man. I feel like we have almost become used to losing things because typically things are taken from us. And I think relationships even can fall into that. Like I said, we used to, positions not being offered to us because of how we look. You know what I'm saying? We used to, women saying, we not hitting this criteria, or we not, where we need to be at this age. Like we're used to these losing these things or missing out on these things. And I feel like it's almost like an immunity, if you will. Like it's almost like it feels like you get used to something. And like I said, I'm not saying that that's right, because I don't think that's right at all. But I think a lot of us, as a community, black men and black women, we got a lot of deep-rooted issues there, just from life experiences. And then too, a lot of us are seeing our parents go through things, and that caused us some damage as well. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to admit it, but it caused us some damage as well. So no, that's the best way I can answer your question. Hopefully that's the answer you're looking for, but I'm just trying to keep it real with you.
Well, I know what my thought is of it, but I would like to hear, because I generally ask that question to several people to see what their response is. But I mean, for me, in closing, thank you for having me on the show. I'd love to come back on anytime. I often play devil's advocate because I like asking the hard questions or answering the hard questions. So if you ever need anybody else if you ever need me on the show or need somebody to come on, let me know.
Okay, hey, Los.
Think about the show. Everyone's more than welcome to come on and join us.
But Los, you're gonna have to watch her, man. She might be trying to take your job, man.
I'm all right with it. Hey, we need black women on the panel. We need other races on the panel. It don't just have to be all black. I want to see white people, Asian. I want everyone to join this, because at the end of the day, we all have to live together. Period.
Facts. All right, let me go over to Nina. Nina, you got anything you want to say before we close out?
Only thing I want to say is thank you for having me. It was fun. But I think definitely one thing we have to come away with is, and one thing I kept thinking is that we have to learn to converse and communicate with each other better.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is that, and I was trying to explain to several people on these posts this day, and I was in Facebook lockdown, so I couldn't say anything till today. So one thing I noticed is that people weren't listening to each other. They're so busy trying to find their points, look at their points. Nobody was really illustrating and saying, acknowledging, I understand what you're saying. But so the black men was going back and forth, and the women too. And I feel like we have to be able to communicate better with each other. And that can boil down to, again, couch time. I'm a couch time with it. And the fact that a lot of people come from dysfunction. I remember I had an ex, this guy I was dating. I'm not an arguer. I will have a discussion, but I don't argue. I'm not gonna do that. I ain't got time for that. We're gonna have a discussion. He used to want to be in, I'm not gonna do that. So, we have to learn to basically learn how to communicate better with each other, to get our points across, actually learn how to speak to each other respectfully, even if we disagree.
I love that. And guess what? I'm guilty. I want to sometimes get my point across. I'm sometimes, what about this? And bringing up CIA files, you know what I mean? So I love that point. Thank you for sharing that, sis.
Yes.
So let me ask this real quick, and then we're going to move on to the next young lady. Just quick question. So who's typically, between the black man and the black woman, who's typically the quickest to want to argue? Give me your honest opinion.
It depends on the time of month.
That's true.
That was a bailout. That was a bailout. That was
That's
It's
that.
the truth.
We'll
Go ahead,
never
go ahead,
understand it.
Nina.
We
I
can
want
never argue.
Go ahead, Nina. I want to hear this. I'm not letting you off the hook. Go ahead, Nina. I want to hear this.
That was for me? Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm not an arguer, but I've been there in situations where dudes wanted to argue with me. So I'm not gonna argue back with you. If I'm gonna come back with you, I'm gonna come in with you at facts. That's how I do. I don't feel like I'm gonna have pulling things straight out the air. I'm gonna come with you facts. I'm gonna come with you articles. As you didn't know, I'm a Virgo, and that's what we do. So,
Nina, you know it takes two people to argue, but it takes two people to argue. Okay? Okay.
Really? Hold on. You catch your air now. You catch your air. You gonna catch your air now.
All right,
Gemini, it depends on which side you catch.
Hey, Nina,
it on that day.
let me show you something, boo boo. www.thisisright.com.
y'all crazy. All right, Keish, go ahead. You got anything you want to say before we wrap up, Keish? Go ahead, Keish.
Well, one, I have truly enjoyed myself. This was fun. And I would say always be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're not kind to yourself, you can't be kind to others.
Amen.
And if you can't love yourself, you have to love yourself with flaws and all. And once you get to that point where you love yourself, flaws and all, then you're more open to receive from what other people have to offer. Know your worth and just have the best time you can, because we only have one life.
Right.
That's it. That's what I would say.
I feel that, Keish. So let me ask you this, based off the statement you just made. Do you feel like as Black men and Black women that we have some self-hate issues? Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Like, I think that's the reason why we have so much conflict, because there's that stereotype that we have to face day to day, and those demands that we have to face day to day.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of triggers something in your mind where you forget, like, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. And because I'm doing the best that I can with what I have, then that should be sufficient enough. My only battle is within myself. I, as a Virgo, am my worst critic, as many of us are. We know ourselves to the bottom, to the core. And so if we can't open ourselves to the possibility of the mistakes that we've made are lessons to be learned to make us better, and we hold on to those mistakes as mistakes, then we're setting ourselves up for failure every time.
Right. I feel
And
that.
not
I
a
feel
growth
that.
opportunity. It has to be.
That's my cousin. She's so smart.
I watch people's
No.
patterns.
No, we appreciate it, Keish. Let me get Coco. Coco, you want to say anything before we close out?
Yeah, just real quick. I appreciate the time that you guys gave us all, me especially, because I know I kind of ran off. But this was fun, and honestly, I'm glad that you guys are doing this show, because unfortunately, this show and having conversations like this may be the closest thing that some of us get to the couch. Like this may be the couch for some of us, because it's a safe space for us to really just talk and be honest. Like this was an honest conversation. People shared. We were honest. Even if you said something that might have been unpopular, like it's welcome here, because we need a safe space where you could just be honest. And we don't have to agree, but if it needs to be said, it needs to be said. You know,
Right.
period. So I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that. And I just, I pray for you guys in this show, because I think that it's a great platform, and it's conversations that need to be had. So I have fun. Thanks.
And just for the fans out there, that's one of the leading ladies of the show. Know that. Know it.
No. No,
She
I'm
behind
just
you.
here to support.
Yeah, no, ladies, no, we definitely appreciate you coming on. Like I said, we're definitely looking to, would like to have you on, for, our additional shows. Like I said, I appreciate everybody being honest. I can tell everybody was being honest. Like I said, I like to get it out there. I like to just ask them hard questions and just get to it. At the end of the
You
day,
ain't off the hot seat. You ain't off the hot seat. How do you feel about that in reversing, man? If there's something that you can say to all these Black women out there in the world, what is it that you want to say from a male's perspective? How about that?
You know what, man? Let me.
Got him.
You know what? Let me say this. I feel like we got to get back to playing our roles. I feel like black men and black women have lost sight of what their roles are, and everything has just gotten all jumbled up. And I feel like it's just causing us all types of issues. You know, you got guys who are with women and have children, but they're not fathers. You know what I'm saying? You have women that are with men and have children, but they're not mothers. You know, you have guys out here, they don't even court ladies anymore. You know what I'm saying? They say they looking for a woman, but they don't even court them. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got women, you know, women out here driving dudes around in the car. Like, there's so many things that we've lost sight of, and for me, it all ties back to roles. Like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, the man is supposed to be in the leadership role, and that woman partners with that man. And we got to get back to that. And then those small things are important. Yeah, like I said, if it is something as simple as pumping the gas or carrying the bags, or making sure the money is good, or making sure the wife is good when she come home from dealing with the nonsense at the job, and vice versa. Like those small things are so important, because if they're not met or not dealt with, they just compound. And then we see what we have now. You know what I'm saying? The brothers say something, the ladies blow up on them, or a sister say something, the brothers blow up on her. Like we see the outcome of that. So I just think we got to get back to focusing on the importance of our roles as black men and black women.
That was beautiful, Quays, but you still didn't answer the question. What do you, from a man, want to say to the women from your perspective in the relationship? I understand we're talking about roles, but for all the other brothers, if you had an opportunity to speak for them to learn something that, you know, they might need, what would it be? What would you ask the black woman, or what would you need from her that she might not know?
You know what? Okay, I'll say this. Black women, we need y'all help. They're flat out. Like, we need y'all help. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, fellas, is not ready-made. You know what I'm saying? We've cracked jokes before about this list that exists. You know what I'm saying? That women have this list that they looking for brothers that, you know, they checking off stuff. Do he got a house? Do he got a car? Do he got a 401k? Do he got a vacation home? Do he dress this way? Do he? We joke about that all the time. But at the end of the day, ain't no man ready made. So as black women coming from a black man, we need y'all help. Yeah, we need y'all to help us be our best. We need y'all to support us, and vice versa. We got to do the same thing for y'all. We got to support y'all. We got to give y'all the help that y'all need, because at the end of the day, we partners, right? So I'm not afraid to say it at all. We need y'all help.
Good. Coco, you did good, girl. That boy good. Somebody pass the chicken.
Man, you fired, man. You fired, man.
No,
but all right, Los, we out our time, man. You want to get anything in there, Los? Go ahead, man.
I want to address what Keisha talked about, your enemy. Your enemy. If you slow it down, that word is your inner me. And the biggest war that we do have is the one between our ears. You know, we create our heaven and hell right here. And we have to do a better job at that. I want to follow Nina by saying we do have to become better listeners, not listening to defend, because we want to be right. I want to follow Tracy when he talked about ego. Ego stands for edging God out, and you thinking that you all of that, and you think you did it by yourself. I want to be able to address Andrea. I want to say it right? How did I say it? Andrea? Sure. I want to address Andrea about being able to love outside of your color. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as we're not going back and tearing down what happened to us, but being vulnerable enough to say, look, I was hurting. I was hurt so bad that I felt like I needed to go somewhere else. I felt like I needed to talk to somebody else. And there are a lot of other women or a lot of black men that feel that, because you got a lot of black men that say, man, I ain't dealing with a sister's attitude. I ain't doing that. So I appreciate you bringing up that conversation, because that conversation creates a lot of healing. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for being on our panel. I want to thank you women, because we need you on the panel every single show. You're more than welcome every single show, because it's the balance. It's the yin and the yang. Me and Quace don't know everything. We up here learning and grinding ourselves. So please Thank you for balancing us out. So if I could say anything to the ladies out there, please continue to balance us out, because we can't do this by ourselves. You were designed to help be our balance, and we were designed to balance you. So for us not being the balance, I apologize. We have to do a better job of balancing and handling the world at the same time. You know why? Because we're men, and that's what we're supposed to do. That's our job, regardless of what we go through. So I have to be a better man in my life, in my relationships, and the things that I have to do. I have to be a better listener. I have to have better balance in myself. And I say me, so that way who's ever listening don't feel like I'm attacking you. And I open up my own closet with my own flaws, so that way you might be able to relate to it and be vulnerable enough to say, look, I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to work to get better. I promise you I might not get it the first time, but I promise you I will continue to get it, to give me the opportunity to get better at it. It's a growing, it's a learning experience. It's building blocks, one after another. So I want to end the show like this. It's the same quote that I say every day on every show and on every episode. And I just think it applies. I personally just think it applies. If you died today, would you get an A+ on life's report card? And you know the answer to that question. But if not, and you're blessed to see tomorrow, you better live like it's extra credit. We're all 6 degrees of separation from loving each other, from doing better. And every day we wake up is the opportunity to change our future, but it's a closer to a day to our grave. So what are you waiting for? That's on show today.
All right, Los, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the ladies coming on. I just want to share some stuff just real quick. We got to show some love to the sponsors real fast. Bear with me. So yeah, one of our sponsors, awaronfriendlygrounds.com. This is, basically Los's book. So yeah, go check out the website, awaronfriendlygrounds.com. And then also,
you can also see the trailer for the film on YouTube, awaronfriendlygrounds.com. The movie comes out next week. We'll be entering it in film festivals this month. So it will be on a film festival run, and then we'll be releasing it to the world.
All right. All right, well, ladies, once again, we appreciate you coming on the show. Like I said, we hope to have you on, on additional shows. Like I said, you were a great little squad right now. So I'm like, we have good energy, great conversation. So like I said, it was an awesome show. Like I said, we want to get y'all back on the next one.
Hey, yeah, load up our other sponsors so they can see our other sponsors.
Well, hold on, man. Hold on. Los, you working me out, man. Hold on. I got a lot of stuff going on over here. Hold on 1 minute.
I'm excited.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 sec before we close out. Let's see.
Ladies, everything you guys brought to the table was brilliant. Everything you guys brought to the table, I don't care. So everyone should be able to take something. If you're not willing to take something from what these ladies said, it's because you don't want to grow. And don't be mad if you continue to repeat the same things in life, because the more we listen to each other, the more we understand each other, the more perspectives we get, the more educated we become, and the better decisions that we can continue to make. And I pray that the ladies out there learn something from myself and Quace, or understand to come on the show and feel like this is a safe space where they can be vulnerable enough to speak and know that they won't just be ridiculed or disrespected on the show, because me and Quace, we're not having that at all.
Yep, real talk. We just got one more sponsor real quick. So it's our other sponsor, Two Sons Juice Company, a cold pressed juice company based in Metro Detroit. Like I said, everything is all natural. No preservatives, no water added, nothing of that nature. So just all the good stuff, all types of flavors and things like that. So go check them out. twosonsjuiceco.com. So the number 2, sonsjuiceco.com. And that's all our sponsors, Los. So yeah, man, great show. Once again, I appreciate it, ladies. Definitely come back and catch us on the next show. Let's say we always are tackling these hard topics. At the end of the day, if you're not getting to the point of solutions and trying to fix these issues, and just like I said, putting that ugly stuff out there so you can really, figure it out and get it corrected, then you're not really moving in the right direction. So we appreciate you all coming out. Let's say hopefully see you on another show, and everybody have an awesome night.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Nice meeting all of you guys.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Our show is called Look in the Mirror, The Conversation. Quacy Host is your host, and King Jaquel Martin is your other host. We love you guys. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful night.
All right, take it easy.